Well, I'd like to talk to you about the Bitbox. This is a 32-bit MCU based on a Cortex M4 chip. So we got two USBs on the side here, micro USB for power, VGA out, and audio out. Then there's also a room for an SD card. This is a crappy case I've made for it. There's already one plugged into the TV over here. And I just want to show you a few games. So this is one of my own creation. This is a Snake clone, but there's a two-player functionality. So we got, you can pick up any USB controllers. These are some knockoff ones. You can control the snakes. Here's another one, for all that amazing goodness. I don't have a partner to duel with at the moment, but I can attempt to duel myself. And anyways, there's a lot of features on this. Of course, if you eat the food, you can grow. There's also a lot of other things you can do. You can add more food. You can increase the starting size of the snake, increase the speed of the snakes, and it gets all a little bit crazy from there. So I'm already going to have enough trouble doing one of my guys, so let's just try and play as one player. So this is Snake. Oh, you can also play with guns, so you can shoot bullets too. Anyways, that's just one game. So that's just running off of, very simple things here. Let's see, what else do we have? Oh, yeah, it should be there. Oops. Didn't have my SD card plugged in all the way. So that's just a little boot menu that you can flash a game to disk. Let's see. Last time I had this going, I had the volume way too low. Just make sure that sometimes you have to mess around a little bit with the settings. Looks fine. Okay. So in this game, just a very simple game. You gotta, collect all the stuff. Then you can move on to the next part of things. But I'm not, doing the hottest job here, but that's okay. Alright, well that's enough of that game. That's a port by Macapuff, one of the guys behind the Bitbox, actually the main guy behind the Bitbox. He's actually created the hardware. Here's another game by myself. BB Gunner. So in this game you can control, it's another two-player game. Gotta shoot at your opponent, try to destroy them. Unfortunately, the second player doesn't always work so well. But what I've found, this is a strange thing, I unplug player 1, make sure that player 2 is working, and after player 2 is working, I plug back in player 1, and looks like we got player 1, and we also have player 2. So obviously there's some hacking to do when you're using the Bitbox, but that's good. Anyway, so this game, I can show you a little bit more. You have a little health meter and a little ammo meter. Some, strange music. And that's about it. So, on to the next one. I'm gonna go back to first player. This is kind of a work in progress by the main guy, Macapuff. So in this one, this should work. Should being the operative word. This is a one-player game, but right now it's just like a maze. There's no enemies or anything, but it's just a demonstration of ray casting and just how you can create simple 3D worlds based on this Wolfenstein or that sort of technology. So yeah, that should be pretty cool if someone wants to work on it. All of these things are open source. There's lots of codes out there for you to learn and use and work from if you so desire. Alright, so I'll boot back into the boot menu. Let me see. Okay, and this is just an example of a 3D one of my own creation. Just kind of using super large pixels on the screen to convey all the information. The microcontroller itself doesn't have enough memory to put a full 640 by 480 screen up, like that's kind of the standard resolution, so you have to kind of create it line by line using kind of optimized algorithms. In this one, I just choose a smaller resolution for both that previous one and this one. This should be working. There should theoretically be USB input here. Here we go. So in this one is a 3D checkers-like game. So it doesn't make a whole lot of sense just looking at it, but if you play around with it and see how you're moving around, it might make a little bit of sense eventually, but no guarantees. So that's just kind of using this low resolution frame buffer to generate everything. Right, and here's kind of one of the prototypes. Typical games you should play. Let's see. You can play this with you can play this with a button on the Bitbox specifically, which I'm doing right now. This poor bird, you know, doesn't really know what's hitting it. Whoa. So that's Crappy Bird. Here, that's Crappy Bird was originally done by Macapuff. Here's another game by Macapuff, a fireman game, a clone of the Game & Watch game, where you try to save as many Game & Watch clones as you can. Quite a nice demonstration of the engine. I'm not actually sure, I've never looked into this code, but it's online for you to look at to see exactly how it's working, but how it draws that nice background and all the other things. This should theoretically get harder any moment. These firemen have had it too easy. Oh! Oh my goodness. Anyways, so that's just another example of this, the Bitbox. What it can do, some of the games. Alright, we'll see if this one works. I haven't tried it in a while. This is anyway, yeah, Dragon Slayer here. I'm just going to skip ahead through that. Here there's just, you know, a few action buttons, up, down, left, right, and A, I believe, is sword. So pull out that sword if you can. Press up and run into that thing as fast as possible. So here you kind of want to try to get over there. There's a few glitches in the game. And, you know, prepare to die a lot. At any rate, I want to see if I can get past this room here. Get over there! Because at some point, there's these kind of glitchy things that it looks like you died, but you actually appear at the next thing. Anyways, I don't know, there's some kind of glitches in this. That's something for Macapuff to figure out. But kind of a nice demonstration of what the Bitbox is capable of, using some fun optimized algorithms. This is one of the first games I ever made. Memory Matrix. I made this actually before actually owning a Bitbox. So in this game you have to memorize the order of the colors and then, you know, attempt to put everything back after it jumbles everything up. So the first couple are pretty simple, so you have to kind of get past the easy stuff. And finally, you will eventually get to something that might be a little more challenging. One of these days. Okay. Now we're starting to get a little bit beyond the 2x2s. So, this is just a fun one. Actually, I don't know. Yeah, so I've already messed that up, but probably you didn't at home. There's other games on this that kind of use the same rendering engine. Paint a matrix, you can create and make little pictures of, I don't know, whatever you want to call these things, but that's one game you can play. There's another one that's, like Simon says, you got to memorize sequences of colors, or in this case, notes. Notes and colors. And so I'm just pushing a direction on the, you know, USB pad to kind of specify these numbers. These notes. Anyways, this is just one of the things. I'll possibly purposely die here just to show you the next one without making you wait too long. So that was no good. There's just a variant of this where you only can see one of the notes at a time. So this, all of these games here are to help you, you know, work on your memory. But we shall move on to the next one. So if you have a Bitbox, figuring out how to use it, you hold the user button and then you hit reset to pull up this menu. Oh, okay. Just running through the list, but wanted to kind of look ahead to see what's going on. This is one of the modes that I'm planning to use for kind of a RPG kind of battle screen, and so it's kind of inspired by Earthbound. Different effects that can go on in the background, and this is just scratching the surface of what you can do. Again, it's kind of using a frame buffer in the background to kind of create a very kind of low resolution picture of what's going on, but then you also have the text that you can overlay on top of it and move around, as you can see here. So anyways, let's move on to the next one. Okay, and this one actually requires a USB keyboard, which I think is most standard keyboards, but I'm going to plug in a USB keyboard for this guy now and hit reset. Oh, that's not reset. There we go. So in this one, it's just kind of the beginning of a, oh, I'm kind of in the way. Oh, you can't really see that very well, but let me type something in. And you see what I'm typing. So if you can read that, good for you. It's a little blurry, I apologize. But this is maybe at some point going to be an interpreter of some sorts, where you can type in math and get calculations out. All right, next. Okay, we're going back to some of Macapuff's creations. This one specifically has some pretty cool background music, so I'm gonna definitely turn that up while we got it. All right. Anyway, in this game you have to kind of use the forces of nature to attract and repel yourself to the end goals. So anyway, this is probably not super exciting, but it's fun to play. So go ahead and grab a copy. You can always play some of the emulator versions of these executables on your own computer. So I already showed you Snake at the very beginning. That was one that was loaded up. These are just a few kind of also prototypes or work in progress type of games. This is just showing it's rendering some edges and triangles, but it's not actually drawing in the faces just yet. But it's not drawing in faces that are facing away from you. So at some point this might be a game, who knows? Or it might stay like this forever. That's sometimes the sad state of things. Sad but beautiful state of things on the internet. Too many projects, not enough time. Here's just another demonstration of 3D. Here it's in much higher resolution because it's using a specialized drawing algorithm. Yeah, this is kind of what the BB Gunner, the kind of first-person shooter, is running on this sort of algorithm to draw the screen. So, and I have one last thing to show you. It's a lot like my other multi-mode that shows the kind of the Earthbound-like battle screen. Whoa! Sorry, got the wrong one. Missed it by that much. I want that one. So this is just a lower resolution of a battle screen here, just with some other things thrown in case you ever wanted to name your character, you know, the natural log of x, but wanted to do it, you know, with an integral or something, you know. This is certainly possible to do. Again, this is all sorts of possible battle backgrounds are possible. You even get kind of some cascading effects that kind of go down the screen. And let me show you one more thing. I think this will do something. You can change the background color. You can make it look angrier, which is always cool. Anyway, that's kind of all I wanted to show you with the Bitbox. Hope you weren't too bored by all the starts and stops, but appreciate your listening. Thanks.